So right now as you're watching this video, I am probably backstage somewhere wearing a corset, a petticoat, an underskirt, and a dress, and I am complaining about all of it. What is up, internet? So right now I am in Hell Week for my first ever opera, I should say operetta. I'm in a production of Deflator Mouse. It is such a fun show, so hilarious, and I am loving it. I'm in the chorus, so basically what I do is I come on during Act 2, I party for like an hour, and then I leave, and it's great. But as is customary on my channel and my blog, when I myself am in Hell Week, I make an episode of Tales of Hell Week. You guys know the drill by now, let's just get into these stories. I just got done working Beauty and the Beast for a summer stock. The whole tech week had been a mess, but on our last dress, it was going great. The show was flawless leading up to the mob fight scene with Gaston and the Beast. Well, our director decided he wanted it to be an actual stunt, so they were fighting up on a platform. They made it halfway through the scene, and our Beast lost his footing and slammed Gaston against the railing and flips over the railing and falls 8 feet onto his back. But the momentum sent Gaston tumbling after him, so he landed on top of our Beast. The best part? The summer stock brings in blind and deaf children to the show on last dress. And this, my friends, is precisely why you always do safety tests on things that could possibly be unsafe before you put it on stage. My junior year of high school, we were doing a production of The Man Who Came to Dinner, and one of my roles was a delivery man who brings in a full-size sarcophagus in Act 2 with another girl as a delivery man. It was on wheels, but the way our set was built, it didn't fit through the door, so the two of us, both around 5'3", had to carry this heavy, nearly 6-foot wooden box. It went fine in rehearsal, but one night she lost her hold a bit. I ended up taking all of the weight, and as I was the one who had to walk backwards with the thing, found myself bending back about as far as I could. We finished the scene with no other issues, nobody else on stage even seemed to notice, and I was perfectly fine, but one of the directors told me after the show that he almost had a heart attack seeing that from the back of the auditorium and feared I'd break in half. So my school did I'll be back before midnight in November. Everything was okay until a week before our show, the lead actor didn't know any of his lines and he had to drop out. His replacement had a week to learn his lines and blocking. Then, on Tuesday, we got a cease and desist letter from the Samuel French Company because the secretary hadn't sent our royalties, so we sent them in and got approved. On Thursday, we stayed at school until 11 p.m. I am honestly surprised the show even went up. Pro tip, try to avoid legal trouble with licensing companies, because nothing ruins a production more than a cease and desist. Our sound op ended up not showing up to our matinee performance. He left before the stage manager could give him his call time. He never answered his phone or got someone to cover for him, and we were about to open house. We ended up having to pull someone from the rails to run sound. Luckily, she knew what she was doing and the show ran perfectly. She ended up continuing as the sound op, and he is no longer working shows in the area. Amazing summer camp production of Fiddler. I decided to make myself head of the beard team. We had great realistic fake beards, tape, spirit gum, and a lovely team under me. But teen boys are the worst and hate being cooperative about their beards and sweat so much that the tape wouldn't even stick some nights. I had to make a flowchart to organize 5 quick changes, accidentally chemically burned a kid with spray deodorant, had someone lose their mustache, and nearly had a legit stroke. I actually have a similar story from when I was in Fiddler on the Roof a few years ago. My friend Jeff, for reasons that are really far too long to explain in this video, was wearing fake facial hair during the wedding scene where he was one of the dancers, and because he had to get the facial hair off very, very quickly, he couldn't spirit gum it, he couldn't do anything that was really gonna stay because, again, he basically had to rip it off and he didn't want to, like, you know, rip his skin off in the process. And because of that, there were a few nights both in tech and during performances where he would be doing pirouettes, and while he was spinning, either the mustache or the beard or both would fly off in the middle of a spin. And really, thank God that it happened during a scene where it was like it was a party scene, everybody around was smiling and laughing, because every time it happened, it was hilarious. I did tech for Music Man, and I was head of run crew and in charge of props. During Hell Week, people would bring food and we would have in-theater potlucks. The techs would go into the room where the food was after dinner break and would take leftovers and hide them backstage. By opening week, we had a secret stash of Red Vines, tortilla chips, Sour Patch Kids, homemade cookies, corn nuts, and more. The best part? Our stage manager said we didn't have to share with the actors. On the day of final dress for a comedy about terrible pirates, one of our actors got a concussion at work and had to get stitches. We all had to prepare for the possibility that he might pass out on stage, or at the very least, be unable to participate in the show's one dance number, which he was the focus of. But his character already had 2 hooks, 2 peg legs, 2 eye patches, so the bandage wrapped around his head kinda worked when he couldn't wear his bandana, at least? Another pro tip, do not get injured during tech week. I've done it, not fun. I'm a technician for a production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Big deal because we're the first amateur production. Anyway, it's closing night and I'm telling all the actors to get their costumes together and bring them to me so they get packed. One boy completely ignored me, left his costume backstage, and completely left the theater immediately after. For the next 3 hours, I'm frantically looking. It's gone. He blames me for it too. He can perform in stage blacks. Actors, for the love of God, at the end of the night, just like hang up your costumes and put them where they're supposed to be. Because first of all, that's what you're supposed to do. And also, nobody on crew and nobody on the cast, frankly, wants to deal with it when you either can't find your costume or something happened to it because you didn't put it away. One week, I was feverish and ill, but we had dress rehearsal. I walked up to another stagehand, reverted to my native German, which I haven't spoken fluently in 12 years, and walked away. I have no idea what I said. And that concludes the stories. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in Hell Week stories. I always love reading all of them. I get such a great laugh out of them. Happy opening night to the cast and crew of Deflator Mouse. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next Friday.